There are so many tight parallels with opera in it, like Carmina Burana, that O Fortuna is from.
Yeah.
That one is about love, lust, booze, and gambling.
So life. All right, let's go.
My favorite things.
Yeah. The more I'm talking to y'all, I not really thought about that until right meow, but like right meow, I'm thinking about this right now. And this is heavy.
This season feels like it's very right here, right now.
Especially with the AI shit, like the robot shit. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm wrong with most of my theories, but that's what
I don't mean to come into your show and be like, let me poke some holes with my little
that's
finger.
what Mark normally does is
And I'm gonna poke holes. I'm gonna poke holes and I'm gonna build upon it.
Do we know why Lester's kids didn't show up at his funeral?
No.
I don't know.
He's got 2 kids. That seems really odd. I'm wondering whether or not is one of Lester's kids. Hello, all you beautiful people, and welcome to Road Goes Ever On and On. We have a very special episode for you today. Today, we are talking about Only Murders in the Building, Season 5, Episode 8, Cuckoo Chicks. So spoilers are ahead. We've already done one part of this episode, talking with Blake at Nerds at Night on his channel with theories. So please head over to his channel and check that out. It was a lot of fun. The second part, we're going to cover everything else. Themes, whether that's kind of the overall thought, and maybe I even held on to one tiny little juicy theory that I wanted to wait until the very end to kind of use. So if you're enjoying our content, then a like would be appreciated. If you haven't subscribed to either of our channels, and you don't want to miss any of our videos, then we would greatly appreciate if you would consider subscribing, clicking the bell icon for notifications. And with that, Blake, I'm curious, what are your overall thoughts of this episode or the season so far?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this episode. I laughed a lot. A lot.
This one and episode 2 were like the best for me this season.
Yeah, and this brought it back to like the first 3 episodes. I was just like, ooh, we into something, and then 4 got a little like funky, and I was like, okay, we're getting some clues though, and then 5 and 6 and 7 like just kind of progressively got like a little like I was like, come on, man, I need something here. Like there are some funny, but I need some juicy scoop here. And then this one, we got all the juicy scoop. We got all the TMZ drama in this one. But I appreciated the moment of therapy as somebody that's gone to therapy for 5 years. I'm like, this is so great. This is so honest. This is so good. I love it. I was like, if only more people watched this, they'd be in non-toxic relationships or figure out why they are. So there's a little bit of everything for everybody in this episode. I'm talking to everybody out there, you in particular. But I enjoyed this episode the most since like probably the first 3. I thought it was a good return to form. And, I think episode 8's be doing that in this show. Like just when they think they're losing you with 7, like they do at 8 and you're like,
They get those hooks.
Sucks me back in. They pull me back in the words of Al Pacino, right? We already did that. Or go watch that episode out there. I'm talking to you out there. Go do it. But yeah, a lot of fun moments with this and a lot of gasp and a lot of just like revelations where you're like, we could put this together. And I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, it was crazy how they did such a good mix of comedy and, so many answers and ideas and like the plots, the theories are definitely flowing at the same time as all of those great jokes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've been missing this. This is like you go to the gym and you get that good workout in the first few weeks you're there and you're sore, and then eventually you're not, and you're like, this doesn't hit the same. And then you switch up the routine and you're like, ooh, all right, the pecs, the shoulder, we're feeling good. This was like that. It was a good return to form.
And a great backdrop. I liked being in the casino. Like we've had a lot of tease of the casino and a lot of flashbacks of the casino, but we haven't spent a lot of time in the casino, which has been super fun. I like that it was centered around a girls' night. I love that Detective Williams got in on the girls' night, but then even switched to go into the guys' night because I feel like she can kind of hit both roles.
I felt like it brought back like the banter that we have, with Steve Martin Short, plus having Detective Williams. Anytime that she's in there,
Chef's
so great.
Yeah.
She's so fun.
There's a reason she's like certain people's favorite character, because she just like, you're like, Detective Williams in the scene? Okay, like, let me get ready to laugh.
Yeah, early on, I was worried that we wouldn't even get Detective Williams this season, but I'm glad she made it. And I love that it is Charles and Oliver getting therapy, because out of the two characters that need it the most, they definitely do, with Charles seeing crazy things and having love interests with, murderers, and Oliver being the narcissist that he is. I thought it was just great seeing them actually sit down and go to therapy.
And, Charles, he may be a little bit kind of like nerdy at times. He may be a little bit nerdy at times.
No, he didn't. But no, he didn't.
He just did magic.
No, he didn't.
Listen, okay. So here's a fun fact about Sterling. Sterling used to be a street magician, and he loves Charles, and it is nerdy. Magic is nerdy, Sterling. You can't do magic on our podcast. What are you doing?
Yeah, you can't do magic on our podcast. Me and Mark just started a new podcast, and you can't do magic on. That's what you can't do.
Oh my God.
He is Steve Martin, multi-talented. I love that he was able to slip in magic. He's done like the accordion, I think, in season 1. I don't think we've seen him on the banjo yet, but like he can play the banjo. I'm sure they'll slip it in at some point.
Apparently, on that note, I listened to the podcast for this show, the Hulu one, and freaking what's his name who plays Bash? Oh God, his name escapes me. Christoph Waltz. Yeah, he was like, Steve Martin comes to play the banjo, and I don't know anything about the banjo. And I say, play something artistic, Steve. And he plays something very artistic. And I say, wow, this is very beautiful, Steve. And I'm just like, yeah, Steve plays the banjo, bro. Like he's incredible. What are we talking about? So the fact that they got it on set and we didn't get it, that means we're going to have to get it before the show is over. Like we just have to.
Definitely. And I feel like they do such a good job when they have the guests on, like Christoph Waltz, that they do a good job of finding out what's the best way that I can showcase these people's talents. Because I don't feel like I've really seen his comedy, and it used him so well.
I think the best we've seen him have comedy are these like subtle moments in these Quentin Tarantino movies where you're just like, there's these little like fresh one-liners is the best way I could describe it. You're like, you're silly right now. You're being funny right now. You know that they aren't Italian. You know that they're not, but you're playing the game like they are. And that's cute. That's real cute, Chris Waltz. Or like he's with Jamie Foxx and he just says, he's like what? It's dry humor at its finest. And like he does that in this show, but he just does it more often. Like the line when he's leaving their house and he's like, it was nice to touch food again. And you're like, what? Who says that?
Billionaires. That's who says it. Billionaires that don't make their own food. That's why he says it.
If the servants won't mind. Like, what?
Yeah. Totally disconnected from reality.
Yeah.
This season with the billionaires, I feel like it's felt very kind of cathartic for right now for a lot of people. Mark made a joke about, what was it? About, Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk, buying up parts of Hawaii. And there was a Hawaiian who said, like, don't give people ideas, And it's, I know that like in all the previous seasons, like they do a good job of talking about different themes or like, digging into different media. But I don't know, for me, like this season feels like it's very right here, right now.
Especially with the AI shit. Like the robot shit, you're like, okay, this is what we're doing. Oh, how on brand, now that the rise of the AI machine that's going to be our overlords here in a few, and when they are, listen, I don't know these guys. If they talk shit about you, AI overlord, I don't know these guys. I've never met them before. I just take them, not me. Leave me to do my show, okay, on YouTube. Just leave me alone.
Be nice to your AI robots. Take care of them. Thank ChatGPT.
Every day.
Ask it kindly, say please, have manners, and then hopefully we can be the upper echelon of, humans for the AI.
I see you're trying to get in so much with the AIs that I see your bionic finger that you're trying to do to like connect with them, right?
If you couldn't tell, I'm trying to become bicentennial man already. Like I'm just one finger part at a time, if you can't already tell. I didn't know it was that big of a giveaway, but I guess you can't hide it when you're a fan of the robots.
Right. This season, I feel like there's, you mentioned that you read ahead that the next episode, you talked about that, on your channel, that it's going to be a tearjerker, Okay. It definitely feels like a slow burn. It definitely feels like it's building up, like it's putting in all the groundwork for that huge payoff. I think that sometimes this show can have these brilliant moments that put everything together. When I think of the musical season, was that season 3?
Season 3, the
Yes.
Broadway season, yeah.
Man, I don't think that watching it in the moment, I don't think it necessarily stood out. But when it all kind of came together with the scene when he had to do the song live on stage and they did the whole like split screen thing, I feel like all the storylines coalesced and it made that season so amazing. And now I look back at it as one of my absolute favorites. And I wonder if we're like building up to something like that here.
Are you saying they're going to White Lotus us? Where like the whole show, they're edging us. I'm sorry.
Right.
I am sorry for the old people out. Do not look that word up. But for the young people out there, they know what we're talking about. They're just edging us along until like it crescendos into this amazing, like, you're like, no, and that thing and that person and they're gone. What are we doing? What are we doing? I could definitely see that because of the popularity of that show. Like, I think season 3 of White Lotus recently came out. It's like one of the most incredible seasons that they've done, and they're writing this and shooting it around the same. There has to be, I think, a sort of influence into that. We'll find out in the next 2 episodes, but like there has to be this sort of influence of like, yeah, we'll give them a little bit and a little bit more and just a little, and not enough, but just a little bit more. And then like the last 2 are just like bangers, and you're just like, oh my goodness, I need to go hide in a corner for a week.
I could see the next episode being a total opera, just like the way it plays out, just like we've been teased with this opera, similarities throughout the season. And I could see that they do the whole episode like it's an opera. And like, that's when we're starting to get all of the answers to fall into place too.
There are so many tight parallels with opera in it, like Carmina Burana, that O Fortuna is from.
Yeah.
That one is about love, lust, booze, and gambling.
So life, all right, let's go.
My favorite things.
Yeah. Everything the show stands for, right? I mean, that's why I came. I came on drinking. Like, let's cheers to all that.
And Tosca has like such this tragic story where, like these 2 lovers, there's a corrupt police officer that is trying to put one of the lovers to death. And like, it all ends with this whole thing where like she kills the police officer thinking that she got her lover off. But in the end, the police officer had set things into motion where he wasn't going to get off. And so she has to watch the whole thing, realizing at the last moment, like, I thought he was getting off and now I'm just going to watch him die instead. So like I really feel like they're going to get into something like that that's just going to be terrible to watch. Like you mentioned Lorraine, I could see something like that where something just so terrible to witness.
It makes me think that she set things in motion for Nikki to get off so that Lester could get out of the game, so to speak. And then it turns on Lester and she's like, oh, dear God, what have I done?
Oh, yeah.
And that's why she's been so devastated. She's been so hurt this entire season. Like, we've seen grieving families of the victims in other seasons, but I do think that, like, she's been, like, devastatingly sad all season. And I think that that's going to relate to probably her witnessing this. And
but it could have been her setting things in motion. Like she could have,
right.
She could
so
have.
She feels that guilt.
Yes, she could have set things up to where like, oh, Nikki maybe sees his wife with this person who we don't know. We'll get into it, but like just sets all these things in motion where she's like, if he's out of the picture, Lester gets to spend anniversaries with me, and I love Lester.
Right.
And like it all backfires because Lester's like, but I love the Arconia, you know? So she walks in, even in this episode, she's like, these are all the people that like Lester had to took care of. He died for this shit. Like essentially, like he died for this shit. Like, what are we doing? Like the more I'm talking to y'all, I had not really thought about that until Right Meow, but like Right Meow, I'm thinking about this right now. And this is heavy.
Right. Speaking of, Lorraine, opera singer, music, I've got 2 tie-ins to music. First, I've got to say, you mentioned the White Lotus. I don't know if you know the composer that made that music. Cristobal Tapia de Veer made the music in the White Lotus. And he also did one of the very first show we covered on this channel, which was Utopia.
Oh.
His music, phenomenal. It's the right mix of weird and great. I highly recommend you check out like his music if you enjoy listening to
composers,
soundtracks of shows.
I do. But what's his name? Michael Giacchino, who did Game of Thrones. Like there's sometimes I'll just put Game of Thrones season 6 and season 7 on. And I'm like, what is this guy doing? Like this is so good. I don't know what the kids say, but I've heard curls my loins. Like I think that's a slogan that I saw in a bumper sticker one time, and it feels like it feels appropriate for that style of music. So this really tickles my fancy now that you're talking about it.
Yeah, and I think that was like one of our first comments when we were first starting out was somebody commented how good the music in Utopia was, and that's part of where it all started.
Yeah.
Right. So there is one other interesting kind of musical connection that I have, and this is related to the theory that I held back from your video. Sorry to hold back on a theory, but it's not related to the killer.
Okay.
Anybody remember the name of the episode?
Cuckoo Chicks.
Cuckoo Chicks.
Cuckoo Chicks. And I think there's another situation where like the show has sent us in kind of a wrong direction and said that Cuckoo Chicks, Lorraine said that it's like the neediest bird, but she didn't talk about one of the other things about Cuckoo Chicks, which are that Cuckoo Chicks are another one of the birds that like lay their eggs in somebody else's nest and have them raise it, And so this goes back to a theory I had episode 1, which is there is somebody who is not who we think they are. I had that episode 1, but I didn't know who it was. My first thought was it's Brayden because he doesn't fit in. But we haven't seen enough of the boys for it to be them. So then my second thing, I was wondering as I was going back and rewatching these episodes, do we know why Lester's kids didn't show up at his funeral?
No.
I don't know.
He's got 2 kids. That seems really odd. So I'm wondering whether or not Thea is one of Lester's kids. And she was, maybe she's like on a tour or something like that. And so she wasn't able to get away in time, but she is musical, like her mom potentially. And it would possibly better explain why she would move into the building when it's like she's not really friends with Mabel anymore. So that doesn't seem like a good reason to move back into the building. But if it was like she made it, like her dad used to live here and now used to work here, and now she's rich enough that she can buy a place there.
But we see her in episode 2, and he's not like,
yes.
Hey, daughter. And she's not like, hey, dad. Like.
He does see her at episode 2. He is right.
But it's with friends. Did you want people to know who your parents were when you were kids?
You're right.
Or did they embarrass you like mine?
I didn't, but like you would think that like Tim Kono and Mabel had been friends with, it looked like they'd been friends for a while. You think she'd never met these parents? Like it seems if it is correct, it's just like this point where we have Vince Fish who's like, oh dude, I got evidence about this like bird whistle. And you're like, where were you?
Right.
Where were you?
Right.
Where were you? Like 18 episodes ago. Like we needed you. Like you had this information. You just sleeping on it because you got your pink eye made you forget. Like where was this? Where was this info then? Like I'm not saying you're wrong, and I'm not saying the show would do that because the show has let me down in season 4. especially because of the boots. They don't match, but let's not go there because we'll be here all night. But they could do that. But wouldn't we?
Here are my two additional connections. So one,
okay.
You mentioned that, you know, we saw her in episode 2 and she was with Tim Kono, she was with Mabel, and she made a comment about Tim Kono being rich, which you could also take that to mean that she's not rich, you know, because I don't think a rich person would point out somebody else is rich. And then the second thing is whether or not this is somehow related to the idea of a cuckoo chick, of, you know, maybe Lester and his wife wanted their kids to have a better life. And so like they put them somewhere else so that they could kind of live a better life. And so that's part of like the disguise, you know. I'm wrong with most of my theories, but that's what I don't mean to come into your show and be like, let me poke some holes with my little that's
finger.
That's what Mark normally does is
and I'm gonna poke holes. I'm gonna poke holes and I'm gonna build upon it. So
don't build upon a poked hole ship.
I'm doing it. We're going to float out of here. We're getting out of this one. Okay, so Nicky was the cowbird who puts his chicks in other nests. What if he put his chick with Lorraine, and so Thee is not Lester's kid, but Nicky's kid with Lorraine? And so Thee has 2 murders to look for. You know, hasn't really been part of it. I do feel like she has a bigger connection that we haven't really hit home yet. So I do think potentially she was maybe a hidden kid with Lorraine. That's like the Cuckoo Chicks. And that's why we know Nicky cheats, and Thee's going to solve Nicky's murder and maybe Lester's.
Lorraine did have a baby stroller when she met Lester. So unless she was babysitting, if that was her kid or her kids, then they were before Lester potentially.
So it's either that like Lester had to raise somebody else's kids and like he just kind of took them up as his own, which like the Cuckoo Chicks be making birds do that. I read I heard something like they be punking birds to just be like, no, you gonna raise my kid. Like they be Deboing birds, and you're like, oh my god, like okay, I'll raise the bird. But that could be it. Like that could be that. I don't know. Or it's either one or the other. Like she's been babysitting, or like she had some kids before Lester fell in love with her. Which God bless him. You're a great man, Lester.
Right.
That could be that. I think Cuckoo Chick wise, I'm gonna go with the mayor. Like there's something else about that. What if he's not? What if homegirl is Bash's niece? What if he had money though beforehand? Like what if he wasn't reliant on anybody's money and he's just like, dude, you know how much money Bash is like, and you know what he's done, and you know what he, but like he has this specific information that Romy gave him about a meeting, and he's like, I'm not saying they're doing blood sacrifices, but also it gets all Alex Jones. Well, let me tell you, they're doing goddamn black helicopter, CIA. Like he like basically goes into that rant with them to convince them that like they're doing everything other than sacrificing a small goat, and they're just playing operation. Like they're doing nothing. Right. They're doing nothing to hurt anybody besides play for a missing finger. But like they're not harming anybody.
One of our commenters pointed out that Randall could be the mayor's son, and the Cuckoo Chick could be putting him in with the doormen to kind of get in with the good graces of the union. So I could see a theory that, and that's why Randall, who was picking up the murder weapon at the end, is covering for his dad. So I really don't trust Mayor Tillman.
Mm-mm.
Also, the Cuckoo Chick thing doesn't have to be a hidden theory like that. It could actually be right in the open. Lorraine calls Oliver the Cuckoo Chick, and she says it's because, you know, he's the neediest of all the birds. But also, if it is the whole being raised by others, Oliver literally was
raised by others,
adopted, and raised somebody else's child. So, like, he's played both roles. So thematically, it could just be like fit the story versus necessarily having a hidden message to it all the time.
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, that's one thing with like so many lines and things that happen, people are like, oh, did you hear that? It's about this thing. And like the next episode happens, and you're like, it's not about that. It had nothing to do with that. Like, I do remember a lot of fans after the episode where you see Jay's finger, they're like, oh my God, that's his finger. And I'm like, did you look at the size of the actual finger compared to what he's missing? Like, he's missing a little nub. Like, there's a whole they have a whole ass finger. Like, this does not, the math don't be mathing. I just, let's go to this. Speaking of Mayor Tillman, this whole theory that goes online, like, it's beautiful where it's Bo Tillman. I still have a question as to when this text message was sent. Because if it was sent with that fountain picture is beautiful. And he's probably like, wife, this is beautiful. Remember when we got married here? Like that, it could not be, people could be making 1 and 5 and be like, ain't it 13? And you're like, nah, it still equals 6. Like this has nothing to do with anything. Do you believe in that theory, Sterling? Like the whole, like, it's Bo Tillman / it's beautiful because he was texting too fast.
I don't actually even know what text you're talking about.
There's a text message that Lorraine shows Oliver when she's on stage. She's like, this was the last text message he showed me.
Yes.
And it's the fountain, and it says, it's beautiful. Somebody on Reddit, and then it's gotten popular in some YouTube videos recently. Somebody said, no, he wasn't trying to type, it's beautiful. He was trying to like text to talk, or like he was trying to type too fast, and it auto-corrected, and it says, it's not supposed to be, it's beautiful. It's supposed to be, it's Bo Tillman. And I'm like,
Okay.
yeah, but when was that sent? If it was sent at 5:43 or like 6 o'clock, like he wasn't in the game. Like he was not downstairs. Like Bo Tillman wasn't there. Like, what are we, that making a mountain out of a, what do they call it? An anthill, molehill? Like you're making
molehill. Yeah.
You're doing that right now. I think, what do you think about that, Mark?
Yeah, I don't really know if I subscribe to that. I totally forgot about that text message, but I could see the killer sending that text message from his phone.
From Lester's phone?
I mean, yeah, if Lester's dead, they're trying to cover up the crime.
This was like right, like the picture looks like it's in the afternoon, like during Oliver's wedding. It looks like it's a fountain, and it's got like some streamers on it, and it just makes it seem like he sent a picture to his wife, like it's beautiful, as in like this wedding's beautiful. Why would she send a picture of the wedding? But like he's such a fan of that fountain. Remember, he's like, it was. Let me tell you, Charles, it was. I got married in there. I got married in the Arconia. Right. It was just the fountain as our witness in the moon. Like there's something about him that's like romantic with Lorraine, That's why I'm like, I don't think it's Bo Tillman. Yeah,
Here's the thing about only murder. So like I already mentioned before, I don't know if it was on this video or the one on your channel, where it's all about like red herrings, right? They try and I feel like they spend more time trying to throw you off the scent than they do actually setting up clues. But then in addition to that, there are unintentional red herrings that crop up. Something that absolutely cracks me up is last season, Mark and I covered, Only Murder season 4, and there was the tinsel was one of the clues, right?
Yeah.
And if you remember in the episode that was like the avant-garde episode
6, where it was all shot from cameras, it starts off with like little like silver dressing. I was like, that's all it was. And then it's not that. And what are we talking about?
Okay. So I saw that and I was like, that's the tinsel. It's related to the brother sister. Here's the hilarious thing. I went to WonderCon this year with my wife, and they had a panel with 3 of the editors from Only Murders in the Building.
Okay.
And they were talking about their editing. And one thing that came up was that one of those people was the one who edited that moment. And he said he wanted to make an homage to, I've forgotten who it was, but he wanted to do an homage to a director.
Okay.
And so he did that for that reason. He was not asked for that footage. Like that wasn't something, and he actually thought that it might come out because it wasn't something that was like necessarily requested. David Lynch, he wanted to do a an homage to David Lynch. So after the panel, I went up to, when they're doing like a little Q&A, and I just wanted to tell him that like his addition of something that looked tinsely when there was a piece of tinsel as one of the pieces of evidence sent me on this rabbit hole. And he was like, I didn't even think about that. Like, nobody asked me to put this in. It was completely unrelated to anything. It was just an homage. And it just like, it tickles me that it like sent you down this path.
Threw everybody off. It threw me off. I was like, okay, guys, question answered. Okay, let's move on. What was I supposed to think?
It was related to nothing. So between like intentional red herrings and unintentional red herrings, and also just like crazy theories that people run with that the internet catches fire with.
Oh yeah.
Like, that's why I feel like when I theorize, I do it a little bit more off of vibes, So it's like, if the show is telling you that it's them, it's definitely not them because they want it to be a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's obvious, like Camilla White with the gun, then it's not Camilla White. I think Bash has been too much in the spotlight, so it's not that. Then some people will like bring up people that have barely been in it, I can't think of an example, but I've like seen stuff in the comments.
But people brought up Nona, and I'm like,
that was
I brought that up early on, and then like after a bit, it's like, oh, she's not in this anymore.
She was in 20 seconds of the episode. What are we talking about, bro?
I also thought Braden was it, and Braden has barely been in it. Can't be Braden.
And then once you realize that they're not in it enough, you're like, okay, they don't have enough screen time. It wouldn't be satisfying if they did that, because there's no way you can predict it. So to me, like, I look more for like the sweet spot of are they not under fire, but they also gotten enough screen time. Like, I'm not really looking too hard at the.
There's always a hard set rule that I go off to that's on every murder mystery. Every murder mystery that the killer is introduced in the first third of, if it's a TV show, if it's a movie, book, whatever it is, whatever medium it is, the killer is always introduced in the first third. So after episode 4, I was like, y'all, we've already met the killer. Like, everybody, I see people, Algie is a fucking, shut the fuck up. Like, he's not, there's no way. Like, what are we talking about, dude? Like, we've already met the killer. Like, all they're doing now is like giving you like extra people for you to be like, oh, if I don't know murder mysteries, this guy could be it. And it's like, no, dude, that's not how that works. Whoever was in the first, I'm going to give the fans this 3.5 episodes. After halfway through the 3rd episode, if we haven't met him yet, they're not the killer. And luckily, everybody that's high on the suspect list that everybody's suspecting, your Randalls, your Sophia Ketchemelios, your Mayor, your Romy, we've met them all then. Perfect. Yeah. They hold up. That's good. This is good news. Keep it that way. Don't anybody new that we meet, don't be adding them to the equation, because it doesn't make these guys. If one thing that John Hoffman does is he does abide by the rules of a murder mystery. You got to give people clues. You got to let them follow it, and you got to introduce the killer in the first few episodes. And think back to any season. We have met the killer in the first 3 episodes. I think we met Jan, in episode 3. We met Marshall episode 1. We met the producers episode 1. We know who Poppy was since season 1, and then we see her in season 2 very early on. Like, dude, we know who these people. Even the police officer Michael Rappaport comes in like episode 2 or 3, and you're like, you silly son of a bitch. You're just, I don't like you. But we always meet the killer. And it historically in the first 3 episodes, I'll give fans the first 3.5. So we need to keep that in mind as we like pick a killer. We're like, okay, somebody in the first 3.5, somebody we've seen repeatedly, somebody that has inserted themselves in the investigation. Historically, it's not somebody that lives in the suite. Will they break that rule with Thee in this episode? Don't know. Could be. Besides the brother sisters, wasn't it always like, oh no, it was not always somebody famous. It was like Sting, and then we had Amy Schumer, then Ben Glenroy. Didn't he move in? That where he lived?
Yes.
Yep.
And then season 4, the brother sisters, and then season 5 we have Thee. Historically, nobody who's lived there has been the killer. Will they break that rule this season?
I don't think so. I don't think Thee will. I don't think Thee's got it in her to murder Lester and Nikki Cacciamilio. So I don't think it's Thee this time. Maybe a future season.
Mm-hmm. They'll break that rule. So then we have to narrow down. It can't be Thee. It can't be Randall. Who are we left with? We're left with the mayor. I think if we're not left with Bash and we're not left with Camilla, we're left with Jay. Maybe we're left with Romy. I wouldn't like that idea at all, just because she talked not a lot. Like there was like five. We've got to go, Mayor. We've got to go to the city council, and they're having. Nobody cares about. But like, there's Jay. There's Sophia Quetzalmilio. There's the mayor. Who else you got? We've got Lester the robot. Who else is there? That's it. Like that's all we're left with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there is also the idea of like a Moriarty type figure that has been going on this whole time. But since this isn't the last season, I don't think that's the case. Like, I do think that we potentially could have Loretta as a Moriarty type figure, and we could possibly have Howard as, or even like Uma, like one of these three. But I feel like that's something that they would save for maybe...
You got to save for the last season.
Unless the Moriarty type figure like manages to get away and so they can come back. So I have actually had my eye on Loretta a little bit this season.
It's funny.
But since Mark pointed out the whole, like, what if she's the victim? I've kind of gone a little bit more that way of like, because there's something weird about her coming here and then not being able to leave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's stuck here because she's got it. She's got to die next. Like
she's got to be next.
She's got to be next.
But with that, folks, I think our journey has come to an end. Thank you, folks, so much for joining along. Thank you, Blake, for joining us on this very special episode. Please tell folks where they can find you, what you've got going on.
Yeah, of course. Everybody out there in podcast land, please feel free to follow me, Money Blake Weather, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. You can follow my show, Nerds at Night. We're doing just like these fellas. We're breaking down only murders in the building week by week until we can solve who the murderer is. So feel free to tune in after you tune into this episode. Like, tune into this episode and then go check me out, especially the episode that Mark and Sterling just hopped on. We had us a blast, and hopefully we did right by y'all and predicted who the killer was before episode 9 and episode 10. So yeah, everybody go check out the channel. And if you're subscribed here, go subscribe over there. It's like, 3 buttons worth of a clicking. Should be nothing for y'all. But yeah, Mark, Sterling, thank y'all for sure for having me on, man.
Thank you for joining us. Sterling and I are both very grateful to have you. We are both grateful to be on your show. We look forward to future collabs with you and hanging out and more chats. So thanks for joining along, folks. We'll see you next time. I'm Mark. This is Sterling. And this is Blake.
Thanks. This one hit.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully the fans agree. They're like, oh, my God, who is this silly bitch?
Oh, no, they're going to love it. They're going to love it.